many of us are either married or preparing to get married and think all you need is love, commitment, and trust to make it work. But what if you need something else? Well, you actually do need one more thing. But before I get into all that, let me welcome you back to my channel. My name is Ayanna, and this is Beyond Committed, where we talk about everything from life, faith, family, marriage, motherhood, and everything in between, and we take them beyond. If this is your first time here, welcome, and I'm so glad you stopped by. And to make sure you're not a stranger, make sure you press that subscribe button below and then turn on your notifications so you don't miss a video. All right, now let's dive right in. Having a healthy and happy marriage takes work. It takes two people, you and your husband, committed to putting in the work every day. And I know for me, the longer I'm married, the more I feel, okay, I got a handle on this marriage thing. I mean, my husband, Eric, and I have been married for over 14 years. And we've been together longer than that. And over time, it's like, okay, I know you, I trust you, we're working on this, we've overcome this. I mean, there's so many things along the way on your marriage journey, whether you've been married for a few years or you're preparing to get married, that you're kind of just learning to trust each other, to work together, to just get it done, but also make sure you're building and nurturing a healthy and strong marriage. But over the years, I realized that yes, we can trust each other and rely on each other and commit to putting in the work, but you need something else as well. You can't just rely on two people to make it work. You have to actually make sure that God is at the center of it. And not just at the center of it, you actually have to trust God with your marriage, realizing that your marriage is bigger than you two, and you need God at the center in order to sustain it, to nurture it, and to keep it strong, and to help it grow. And there's three really important reasons why we have to trust God with our marriage more than we trust ourselves. One of the first reasons why we have to trust God with our marriage more than we trust ourselves is that we're human. We are imperfect. We will make mistakes after mistake after mistake, both as individuals and together. And there's sometimes we learn from those mistakes, course correct, and do the right thing the next time. But in the midst of it, we don't know what the next time will bring. We don't know what the future holds. But we can trust that God does. God has a bigger plan both for us as individuals, both you and your husband, but he also has a bigger plan for your marriage, something that he is constantly unfolding and revealing to you and drawing you closer to and walking you through. But we don't know what those plans are all the time. We don't know always what the next step is. We don't even know what like the next day will actually look like. So it's so important that in marriage, we are mindful that yes, we grow and we learn and we kind of graduate through the different stages of marriage. It's kind of like I look at motherhood. You kind of go through those stages of motherhood, like you go through motherhood 101. It's like you have the newborn and you kind of get that and you're grooving and you're working with that. But then your child starts walking and then they go to school and then all these new stages in life happen. And the same thing happens in marriage. You may gain some things. You may pass marriage 101, but the next class, marriage 201, marriage 301, all the years that go on, you will learn different things. You will be faced with different things. And it's so important that we're not just relying on ourselves, on our limited vision, on our limited knowledge, and really seeking God to help guide and direct us through it, trusting that he has a bigger purpose for both us and our marriage, so we can trust him with it more than we trust ourselves. And another reason why we have to trust God with our marriage more than we trust ourselves is that we can't control anyone but ourselves. In the midst of everything, no matter how much your husband loves you, how much you're committed, there will be things that you can't control. There will be things that he does that you were just not expecting. There will be things that you do that he was just not expecting. And in the midst of it all, it's so important that we are trusting that God, okay, is covering, God is guiding, God is directing us as individuals within our marriage, and realizing that the only person that we can grow and change and mature and, focus on intentionally about changing and being better is ourselves. So it's so important that we are mindful of that, because if we trust God with our marriage, trust God with our lives, we can trust that, okay, even though the missteps, even though there are things I cannot control, the things that God are calling me to do as a woman and as a wife, he will prepare me to be exactly where I need to be and do the things I need to do. And I have to trust that God is also doing the same thing with my husband. And not just within your marriage. There are so many things outside of your marriage that you just don't have the control over. There'll be, your kids, and then there's family, and then there's job situation. And then there's so many other things around you that you don't have any control over either. together. So it's so important that you're not just trusting and relying, okay, what you know, what you can control, what you can do, but you're trusting that God is at work in it all. You're trusting that God, okay, has a bigger plan and purpose for you and your marriage, but also that God will continue to sustain it, grow it, and nurture it so that you both can face whatever tomorrow is, even with your limited vision, imperfectly, but trusting in an all perfect God. And the third reason why you should trust God with your marriage more than you trust yourselves is because God loved both you and your husband first before you met and even before you were born. And also God created marriage. So shouldn't he be trusted with the thing in which he created, and he created both you two to be in? I know for me, even after being married for so long, it's easy to think that you know everything about a person. Like, you know, you may have grown up with them in certain ways. Like for me, my husband Eric and I met when we were 19. So we've actually like grown into real adults together, and we've been through many ups and downs, things that, you know, could have broken us, things that have strengthened us, things that have grown our love and commitment and connection with each other. But regardless of how long we've been together, regardless of how many stories he tells me or I tell him about how we grew up or the things that happened in our past, we still will never know everything about each other. And it's so important to be mindful of that in marriage, because you kind of get familiar and you think, okay, well, I know this and I got this and, you know, we know each other and all of that. But there are new things that will be popping up. There are new things that may surprise you. There's things that you may do that you may not have thought you would do. And the same thing for your husband. So it's so important that you're mindful that, yes, you may have been together, you may be loving and committed, but you have to trust God with your marriage more than you trust yourself. Because like I said before, we are imperfect. We will make missteps. We won't always love well, even though that is the goal. And as we trust God more with our marriage, when we trust ourselves, he will guide us to love well. He will guide us to be the wives he created us to be. He will guide our husbands to be the husbands he created them to be. And he will also guide us as a unit to be the marriage that he created us to be light in the world in so many ways. Also to have fun and grow and be strong and loving and happy. Because at the end of the day, yes, you want a God-centered marriage, but you also want a fun one. You want one that's filled with love and adventure and new things and things that are strengthening and things that are nurturing and things that help you to build. So in the midst of doing all the things, in the midst of realizing that yes, we're imperfect, yes, we don't control everything, but in the midst of it, we can trust an all perfect God who, yes, is in control and who loved us first, so will show us how to love our husbands well. All right, that's it for today. And I want to know, what is one way you can trust God more with your marriage? Let me know in the comment box below. And if you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up, and then make sure you press that subscribe button and turn your notifications so you don't miss a video. All right, now until I see you again, bye.